Hey there, future property tycoons. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your house and thought, you're doing great, but what if you could help me buy another one? Well, good news. You can. Today, we're diving into the surprisingly doable and slightly magical world of using your home equity to buy another property. Yes, that's right. We're talking about turning bricks into bucks and walls into wealth. Whether you're dreaming of your first rental, a holiday escape, or just building an empire one semi-detached at a time, this video is your no-fluff, no jargon, step-by-step guide to making it happen. And don't worry, I'll keep it fun. Throw in a few awkward stories, because I've made mistakes so you don't have to, and by the end, you'll feel confident enough to call your mortgage broker like, "Let's talk equity, baby." Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the basics in case a couple of you still don't know. What the heck is equity? Think of your home like a giant, delicious pizza. If your property, aka your pizza, is worth $500,000 and you still owe $300 on your mortgage, then you've got $200,000 of equity. That's your uneaten slice of cheesy financial goodness. In simple terms, equity equals current property value minus outstanding mortgage. And here's the exciting bit. If your home's value has gone up over the years, which it probably has, unless you live in a swamp or have a house shaped like a teapot, then your equity has grown right along with it. It's money you've already earned, just sitting there in your walls, quietly appreciating. You've done the hard work. Now it's time to explore how that built-up value can be used to invest in a second property. Let me share a quick story to bring this to life. My friend Sarah, mild-mannered schoolteacher by day, stealthy property investor by night, bought her first home back in 2014 for $250,000. It wasn't anything flashy, just a humble single-family home in the suburbs. Fast forward a decade, and the property's value had more than doubled. She still owed around $150,000 on the mortgage, but the market value of the property had shot up to over $500,000. Now, did Sarah celebrate with champagne? Sort of. She cracked open an IPA. But more importantly, she took action. She tapped into her equity and used it as a deposit for a second property, a rental that now brings in steady, passive income every month. The takeaway? Equity isn't just a number on paper. It's untapped potential. It's money you've already earned just by owning your home. Don't let it nap. Let's wake it up and put it to work. Liking where this is going? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next steps to grow your property game. Before making any bold moves with your equity, you've got to know what you're working with, and that starts with getting your home properly valued. You can start with an online estimate if you're curious, but for anything serious, go the extra mile. You could get an official appraisal from your bank, or invite a few estate agents round to passionately debate whether your kitchen backsplash is modern minimalist or just meh. And here's a golden rule. Never rely on just one valuation. I once had one agent value my place at $700,000, and another said it was worth $775,000. Unless someone found a Picasso in the attic or assumed I had a helipad, that's a huge gap. So what do? Simple. Get multiple quotes and average them out. That gives you a solid ballpark figure to work with when calculating how much equity you could release. All right, it's calculator time. But don't panic. We're not diving into high school algebra here. This is just the good kind of math, the kind that helps you build wealth. Let's break this down with real numbers. Say you own a home that's currently valued at $500,000. Your remaining mortgage balance is $275,000. That means you've built up $225,000 in equity. That's your silent money just chilling in your walls, not doing much for you, yet. Now, most lenders will let you borrow up to 85% of your home's value, which is known as the loan-to-value ratio, or LTV. So, 85% of $500,000 is $425,000. Subtract your current mortgage balance of $275,000, and boom, you've got $150,000 in tappable equity. How do you actually get that money out? One way is through a HELOC, home equity line of credit. A HELOC is like a giant credit card backed by your house. You get a revolving line of credit based on your home's equity. The best part? You only pay interest on the amount you actually use. So let's say you draw the full $150,000 from your HELOC. Now you're ready to put that to work. Here's the power move. Use that $150,000 as a 25% down payment on a $600,000 investment property. Or, if your equity is $200,000, let's tweak the example, you could now afford to put 25% down on a $800,000 property. Yep, you just turned your house into a launch pad for a second one without saving a dollar from your paycheck. But wait, it gets even better. Let's say instead of going for a traditional investment property, you go to the house hacking route. Here's how it works. You buy a 2 to 4 unit multifamily property, live in one unit, and rent out the others. Since it's your primary residence, lenders consider it an owner-occupied loan, which qualifies you for way better terms and a much lower down payment. We're talking as little as 5% down. So, if you have $150,000 from your HELOC, you could stretch that across multiple properties over time. That 5% down means you could potentially buy a $3 million multifamily property if you wanted to. And here's the kicker. You only need to live there for 1 year. After that, you can move out, rent your unit, and repeat the whole process again with the equity you've now gained from that property. It's a strategy known as rinse and repeat. You're basically playing Monopoly, but in real life. So instead of your equity collecting dust, it's now actively working for you, creating cash flow, building wealth, and expanding your portfolio. All right, I get it. The term mortgage broker doesn't exactly light a fire in your soul. It sounds only slightly more thrilling than a toenail inspection technician. But here's the truth. In the realm of property finance, these folks are absolute lifesavers. A good broker will assess your borrowing power, help you remortgage, and scour the market for the best deals. Things that, if you try to do solo, can turn into a minefield. I once went full lone wolf mode and nearly locked myself into a fixed-rate loan that would have had me financially suffocating for years. Thankfully, a broker swooped in, untangled the mess, and quite literally saved my bacon. And trust me, I don't throw around bacon-related gratitude lightly. They'll also help you understand your options, whether it's a further advance, borrowing more from your current lender, a full remortgage, switching lenders, or even a secured loan, a second mortgage that isn't as scary as it sounds. Most brokers won't charge you a penny, and the money they could save you? Easily worth a celebratory breakfast. Here's where things get exciting. You've unlocked your equity. And now the big question is, what are you going to do with it? The possibilities are tempting. Maybe you're eyeing a buy-to-let, aka a traditional rental, to start building that passive income empire. Rent it out long-term, collect checks, and build wealth steadily. Or perhaps a charming holiday home, your personal escape from the daily grind, and a little extra cash when you rent it out on the side. In this case, you're entering the world of furnished short-term rentals, or STRs. Think Airbnb or Vrbo style. STRs can earn serious money, especially in tourist hotspots. The nightly rates are higher, and if your place has a hot tub, mountain view, or is Instagrammable, even better. But remember, it's also a hospitality business. You'll deal with the guest turnover, cleaning schedules, reviews, and yeah, the occasional person who thinks the hot tub is a human soup bowl. Another option? Channel your inner HGTV star. Buy a fixer-upper. Roll up your sleeves and add value through sweat equity. You can flip it for profit or renovate and rent it out. Either way, you're boosting your return. Just make sure you budget for surprises behind the drywall. But here's a strategy that's rising fast: the furnished midterm rental, or MTR. These are fully furnished properties rented out for 1 to 12 months, popular with traveling nurses, remote workers, and people relocating. It's the perfect middle ground between STRs and long-term rentals. MTRs offer a sweet spot, more consistent income than STRs, since tenants stay longer, and higher rents than traditional rentals. Plus, they often involve less wear and tear than STRs because there's less turnover. But it's not all sunshine and rent checks. MTRs come with their own challenges. You'll need to furnish the property, which is an upfront investment. You also need to find that sweet marketing spot. Not everyone searches for 3-month stays, so expect to get creative with your listings. And depending on the market, demand can be unpredictable, especially in off-peak seasons or areas with fewer transient professionals. And if you're just looking for a second home, maybe a peaceful getaway that's yours and yours alone. Keep in mind that you'll face additional stamp duty or taxes, depending on your country or region. That's a cost many forget to factor in. Bottom line, each option is a different game with its own rules. Run the numbers, be real about how involved you want to be, and choose wisely, because your equity deserves a good home just as much as you do. At this stage, it's time to get your mortgage in principle, also known as a decision in principle, or DIP, or simply a letter of approval. This is essentially a note from your lender saying, "Yep, we'd likely give you the money, as long as you don't go wild and buy a Porsche right before trying to close on a home loan." It's your golden ticket when speaking to real estate agents, and most sellers will require one to even think about considering your offer. It tells them you're not just window shopping, you're ready to make a move. Once that's sorted, the fun part begins: property hunting. You'll be tempted by gorgeous listings, charming fixer-uppers, and homes that whisper, "I'm the one." But hold on, here's a pro tip: don't fall too fast. A friend of mine once fell in love with a dreamy Victorian terrace, only to discover the roof had more holes than a spaghetti strainer. Trust me, nothing kills romance like an unexpected waterfall in your bedroom. Stay smart, stay grounded, and make sure your heart and wallet are aligned. You've done it. You found the right place, made the offer, and it got accepted. Now it's time to bring it home. Literally. This is where the final stretch kicks in. Legal checks, aka conveyancing, finalizing your mortgage paperwork, signing what feels like 137 documents, and coordinating timelines with solicitors who seem to live in a different dimension. It might feel a bit like herding cats. Slow, unpredictable, and mildly stressful. But hang in there. Once all the legal and financial boxes are ticked, the keys are handed over, and just like that, you're the proud owner of another property. You've used your equity like a pro. You didn't just sit on that value, you activated it. That's next level stuff. Now go ahead and reward yourself. And I mean properly. Cue the celebratory pizza and beer. And yes, this time it's real, not a metaphor for property value. You've earned it. Using your equity to buy another property is, hands down, one of the smartest financial moves you can make. If you approach it strategically, it's not just about owning more bricks and mortar. It's about making your existing assets work harder for you. Think of it like planting a tree using the fruit from a tree you already grew. With time, care, and the right conditions, that one tree turns into an orchard. And just like that, you're not just a homeowner. You're building a property portfolio that can generate income, build long-term wealth, and even offer financial freedom. But remember, success lies in the details. Know your numbers inside out. Get professional advice from people that know their stuff, like mortgage brokers, real estate agents, and education pages like the Money Leverage Academy. And never underestimate the humble spreadsheet. It might not be glamorous, but it's your secret weapon. My advice would be to get a local mentor who has experience in the type of investment properties you are interested in. You'd be surprised who might be willing to help you. Everyone has to start somewhere, and most entrepreneurs love to tell their story. If this video gave you the clarity and confidence to finally make your equity work for you, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Got questions? Success stories? Near-miss property disasters? Drop them in the comments. We read them all and love hearing from you.